Welcome back to Bloody Angola. I'm your host, Jim Chapman, and today I'm coming back at you with another 50 Shades of Evil series episode. We're going to step into the quiet fields of rural Iowa for a story that shattered a small community and captured national headlines. It's going to be a case that asks very uncomfortable questions about fleeting encounters, hidden darkness, and justice in the heartland of the entire country. It centers around a killer by the name of Cristhian Rivera, a man whose paths crossed with that of a bright, promising young woman by the name of Mollie Tibbetts, with devastating consequences. So we're going to go back to July 18th of 2018. This takes place in Brooklyn, Iowa, and 20-year-old Mollie Tibbetts was lacing up her running shoes. She kissed her boyfriend goodbye for what should have been just a routine jog, but Mollie never would come home. What would follow was an exhaustive search that drew volunteers from all over the state, national media attention, and eventually a lead that would lead investigators to Cristhian Rivera, a 24-year-old farm worker originally from a small village in Guerrero, Mexico. Now, on the surface, this guy, he seemed kind of unremarkable. He was quiet, he was polite, just another laborer in Iowa's agricultural heartland. But beneath that facade lay a darkness that would forever change countless lives in this area. So in this episode, I'm going to take you through every layer of that tragedy. I'm going to walk you through the high-stakes trial, the courtroom battles, the dramatic verdict, and the sentencing. But before we dive in, just a quick note. This episode contains detailed discussions of violence and sensitive topics, so obviously, listener discretion is advised. I'm going to approach this with the utmost respect for Mollie Tibbetts, her family, and all of those affected. And if you or someone you know needs support, resources for victims and their loved ones are available through organizations like the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children or a local crisis center in your area. Please take advantage of that. Mollie Tibbetts was more than a headline. She was a daughter, a sister, a girlfriend, a friend. She was full of dreams and potential, and her story deserves to be told fully. Not just the horror, but the life she lived and the legacy that she left behind. So let's go ahead, let's settle in. This is 50 Shades of Evil, Iowa. Cristhian Rivera was born on July 18th of 1994, and coincidentally, he shared a birthday with the date of Mollie Tibbetts' disappearance many years later. He was born in a small village in the Mexican state of Guerrero. Now, this was not a bustling city with bright lights and opportunity. It's a modest rural village of just a few hundred people. It was nestled in a rugged region known more for its challenging economic conditions than for second chances. And life in Guerrero's countryside during the 1990s and early 2000s was marked by limited resources. Families would often rely on subsistence farming, small-scale agriculture, growing things, right? Whatever work they could find, they would do. Education, it was available, but it was inconsistent, and many young people would leave school early to help support their households. Now, while specific details about Rivera's immediate family remain limited, reports paint a picture of a typical working-class upbringing in a tight-knit but economically strained village. His early years were spent in an environment where survival and family bonds were pretty central to his upbringing, far removed from the American Midwest where his path would eventually lead. So from a young age, he navigated a world that was really shaped by very modest means. The region around this village, it had long faced issues that were common to parts of rural Mexico. You had poverty, limited infrastructure, and the pull of migration, if you will, northward in search of a better life. Of course, I am no proponent of illegal immigration, but, it is the reality of Mexico. For many of these residents, not all, some of them have horrible intent when they come into the United States, but there are some that want to come into the United States just for a better life. Now, there's a legal way of doing that. We all know that, but that's the situation here. By his mid-teens, Cristhian was apparently in this situation. Like so many others, he made the journey north, and around the age of 17, he would cross legally into the United States. And that's no easy feat. Border crossings for many involve dangerous routes, smugglers, and immense personal risk. Rivera allegedly arrived with the hopes of working and stability, eventually making his way into Iowa, which was a state known for its vast farmlands and its demand for agricultural labor. Now, once in Iowa, he would settle in. He found employment on farms, tending crops, working with livestock, and maintaining operations in often very remote areas. And one notable employer was a farm near Brooklyn, Iowa, and he worked there starting around 2014. Now, he also lived in housing that was provided on the property, which that's common arrangements for farmhands. They actually live on the property. If you're someone that has ever watched Yellowstone, all those guys lived in like bunkhouses on Yellowstone. And although that was a TV show, it was reality. That's typical whether you're working a ranch or whether you're working agricultural land like in this situation. So to facilitate employment, he would use the alias John Bud for paychecks and identification purposes, obviously illegal and a fake name. That detail would later raise questions during the investigation. Now, life as a young farm worker in rural Iowa, it was pretty routine. Rivera was described by those who knew him during this time as quiet, respectful, and hardworking. He would blend into the community without drawing much attention. As a matter of fact, little attention at all, and colleagues and neighbors recalled him as polite and unassuming, the kind of person you would pass on a country road without a second thought, just totally blended in. He reportedly became a father during this time, and accounts from those close to him would suggest he took the responsibility seriously, at least on the surface. Yet, even in these early American years, there were glimpses of kind of a complex demeanor underneath. Living and working under an assumed identity because you're undocumented, that I would imagine would carry its own stress. You're constantly looking over your back. You don't have a whole lot of opportunity for advancement. And you also have a fear of potential discovery, I would imagine, when you're doing something like that. And Iowa's farm country would offer steady work, but also isolation, long hours, and an environment far different from the one he left in Mexico. Now, it's important here to separate fact from speculation. Rivera's early life wasn't marked by widely reported red flags or dramatic incidents that screamed, "Danger, this guy's a bad guy." Instead, it seemed as if this time in his life, he was just a hard worker and he seemed determined. But as you're going to discover as we go along, ordinary can sometimes mask the evil underneath. After spending hours diving into these crazy cases, the last thing I want is to lie there staring at the ceiling because the sheets feel rough or I'm sweating all night. That's just a few of the reasons I love Cozy Earth. They make the softest, most luxurious bamboo bedding and loungewear I have ever owned. Their sheets are temperature regulating, ultra breathable, and actually get softer with every wash. The pajama sets and robes make me feel like I am in total vacation mode while still at home. I love Cozy Earth so much, in fact, that I worked out a deal with them. Right now, as a special offer for my listeners, you can unlock an exclusive 30% discount on anything you buy using the code EXPOSED at checkout when you visit CozyEarth.com. And here's the peace of mind. Their bedding is backed by a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty, so you can try it completely risk-free. Stop settling for restless nights. Head to CozyEarth.com, use my code EXPOSED at checkout, and treat yourself to the best sleep you've had in years. Your bed will thank you. That's CozyEarth.com and use the code EXPOSED at checkout for 30% off. Now, researchers and investigators would later piece together that Rivera had been in the U.S. for several years by the time of the events that I'm going to tell you about that took place in 2018. He had established a pattern of life centered around farm labor. He maintained a low profile. His family connections seemed to have remained back in Mexico, though distance and circumstances would strain those relationships over time. But by all outward appearances, into early adulthood, Cristhian Rivera was simply a hardworking individual contributing to Iowa's economy. He would live on that property, he would make money, he would farm the land, and little did anyone around him know that this unassuming young man would carry some sort of capacity for an act that would absolutely rip through the fabric of the entire Iowa community and really beyond. So Rivera moves into his early 20s and his routine would solidify. He worked at the farm for several years. He became a familiar face to the operations owners and the staff. The Lang family, which was a prominent Iowa family that was heavily involved in agriculture and politics, they owned the farm, and Rivera, as I said, lived rent-free on that land, and that was kind of part of his compensation package. And there had been no major criminal history or brushes with the law during this time. He just appeared to keep his head down and do his job. But to me, this ordinariness, if you will, is what makes this case so disturbing. The idea that someone capable of the profound evil that you're going to learn about in just a minute can occupy the same space as the rest of us without raising any alarms is pretty disturbing. Of course, hindsight, 2020, right? Investigators would later scrutinize every single detail of his life in Iowa. They looked for any missed signs or patterns, but in real time, during those young adult years, nothing dramatic surfaced. He was part of the invisible backbone of agriculture in Iowa, just unseen but essential. So by 2018, Rivera was in his mid-20s. Now, he had spent nearly a decade in the U.S., much of it in Poweshiek County, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He had a child, a job, a place to live, and a routine that appeared pretty stable. And we're going to shift a bit, and I've talked enough about him, so I'm going to tell you about Mollie Tibbetts. Now, Mollie Tibbetts was 20 years old in July of 2018. Very vibrant, ambitious University of Iowa student, and she had a very bright future ahead of her. And she was born and raised in Brooklyn, Iowa. And she would embody the best of small town values, kind of mixed with big dreams. And Mollie, she was studying psychology, and she was passionate about that subject, man. She loved to help others, and she was deeply involved in her community. She was also in shape. She was an avid runner. She was a loving daughter, a sister, and she was in a committed relationship with her boyfriend, Scott. You're talking about a girl that had everything going for her at this point in time. Friends would describe her as kind, funny, outgoing, and full of energy. She was the type of person who just lit up every room that she walked into. And her family roots, they ran deep in Iowa. Her mother, Robin, was a dedicated teacher in the area. And the Tibbetts family was very well known and very well respected. Mollie had grown up surrounded by cornfields, and she had close-knit neighbors, but she really kind of wanted to break out of this small community. She knew that there was more out there for her. And that summer, she was back home in Brooklyn. She was working a summer job, just enjoying time with loved ones before having to head back to classes in the fall. So we're going to go to the evening of July 18th of 2018, and Mollie was doing what she loved to do. She went for a run. She wanted to take a jog. It was a warm summer night, somewhat peaceful, puts on her running gear and her bright shoes, and she heads out the door at around 7:45 p.m. Now, witnesses would later recall seeing her jogging along the east side of Brooklyn, Iowa, earbuds in, moving with a fast pace of someone who was clearly in shape and ran a lot, and it should have been an ordinary evening workout for Mollie. But sadly, she would never return. Now, when Mollie didn't show up for work the next day and her calls would go unanswered, her family knew that something was wrong because that was totally out of character for her. The search would start almost immediately. Volunteers would pour in from Brooklyn and surrounding communities. Law enforcement from surrounding counties would kick in and volunteer to help out and coordinate efforts. Posters would go up. Social media would light up with hashtag Find Mollie. And national news outlets, they would start paying attention. You got drones working, dogs, hundreds of people scouring fields, roads, wooded areas. Tips would flood in, but days would turn into weeks with absolutely no sign of Mollie. This wasn't just a missing person case to the people of Iowa. It was personal. Remember, Mollie was one of their own. She was a local girl with a big, promising future. The community would rally in a way that really would showcase the best of small-town America. Farmers would leave their fields, neighbors organizing searches, strangers driving hours to look for her. Her family would speak publicly with grace and strength and plead for information while clinging to the hope that maybe she was still alive. Meanwhile, investigators would work methodically. They would get phone data, surveillance footage, witness statements, and they would slowly start to paint a picture. And a key breakthrough would come from some security video obtained from a residence home on the east side of Brooklyn, Iowa. And it would show a dark-colored Chevy Malibu following Mollie as she ran, and that vehicle would become central to this case. So after weeks of searching, on August 21st of 2018, authorities would zero in on none other than Cristhian Rivera. He would get confronted by investigators, and eventually he would lead them to a remote cornfield about 12 miles southeast of Brooklyn. And there, hidden under corn stalks and leaves, lay Mollie's body. Now, only her bright running shoes were visible at first, and that's a heartbreaking detail, y'all, that has stayed with many people who have followed that case. The autopsy performed by the Iowa State Medical Examiner, it would determine the cause of death as multiple sharp force injuries. Obviously, her death is ruled a homicide. Mollie had been stabbed repeatedly, and the details are tough to hear. Rivera told police he saw Tibbetts jogging while he was driving that black Chevy Malibu and, quote, thought she was hot. He said he drove past her 3 times, eventually parking his car behind her. He then got out of the vehicle and begins jogging alongside her. He said Tibbetts was wearing headphones and listening to music and did not initially hear him approaching her from behind. He said at this point he tried to talk to her to get her attention, but she rejected those advances and told him to leave her alone. He said he continued to follow her and get close, and Tibbetts became aggressive, obviously in self-defense, and turns towards him and yells at him to back off, and at one point tries to kind of slap him away. He said Tibbetts then pulls out her cell phone and told him she was going to call the police if he did not leave her alone, and he told investigators that that threat to call police made him, quote, very angry. He said this anger caused him to lose control, and he admitted to striking or attacking her, noting to the officer that she had blood on her as a result of the immediate physical confrontation. And then he makes an interesting claim. He claims to have blacked out at that point. He said he doesn't remember anything else. He said he later disposes of her body in the cornfield, and he guided police to that location himself. His vehicle matched the one on surveillance footage, and evidence, including DNA and other forensics, would further link him to the scene. And so with all this evidence, with this confession, he is obviously arrested, and he faced a first-degree murder charge, which is the most serious in Iowa. And Rivera was held without bond, and the period between the arrest and the trial would stretch over nearly 3 years. It gets delayed by legal motions first, and then the COVID-19 pandemic would hit, and all the frustrating delays with murder trials these days. And Rivera's legal team during this time, they would raise issues around his interrogation, his immigration status, the admissibility of certain evidence. And at one point, there were even debates on whether statements he made were voluntary and if proper procedures were followed. But courts, in the end, would largely side with the prosecution on all the key stuff, and that would allow the bulk of the evidence to stand. It's so frustrating to me. I'm going to sidebar for a second, just kind of bitch about this, but it's so frustrating to me. This guy led police to her body. Clearly, he killed her, right? He admits to killing her. He tells police everything he did. But the key there is he can't use the coercion confession type defense because you knew where she was. You led police to her. But eventually in May of 2021, the trial would start. This was in Scott County, Iowa, and it was a 7-day trial. And prosecutors, they would lay out a compelling case built on surveillance video, and it would show Rivera's vehicle following Mollie. And that lined up with his own statements to police, which they would also use. They would use forensic data and also the recovery of Mollie Tibbetts. And they painted a picture of what an opportunistic attack on a vulnerable young woman out on the run looked like, which is exactly what this was. Now, the defense, they would attempt to challenge all kinds of aspects of this. Rivera's confession, they would suggest he was coerced and that his account of blacking out somehow would indicate diminished responsibility, which to me is absolutely crazy. Basically saying, well, he blacked out, so he's not really responsible for what occurred after that. They argued the evidence didn't conclusively prove intent, which is required for first-degree murder charges. However, the physical evidence, including the condition of Mollie's body and ties to Rivera's vehicle and his statements, it would tell the real story. So on May 28th of 2021, after deliberating, the jury would return a unanimous verdict of guilty of first-degree murder. The courtroom, of course, as you would expect, filled with emotion as Mollie's family and supporters reacted with a mix of relief and really continued sadness. For the Tibbetts family, it was a hard-won step toward justice after years of pain. You don't get closure, right? But you can get some sort of justice. Sentencing would follow on August 30th of 2021 in Iowa. And it's important to keep in mind, first-degree murder carries a mandatory sentence of life in prison there without the possibility of parole. And a judge by the name of Joel Yates was presiding over this sentencing hearing. And at these sentencing hearings, as you know, you have victim impact statements. And Mollie's mother, Robin, as well as other family members, they would speak very powerfully about the profound effect that this murder had in their lives. They talked about the missed milestones, the daily grief, and the strength they would have to find in each other and their community to get through this. And their words would humanize the loss of this amazing young lady. And it was at that point that Judge Yates would address Rivera directly, and he was formally sentenced to life in prison without parole, as well as ordered to pay $150,000 in restitution to Mollie's estate, which I doubt he had that money, but there it is. Of course, post-conviction appeals, as you would expect for life in prison trials, they would follow. You're going to exhaust all that. His defense team criticized everything from evidence handling and jury instructions. But in October of 2023, the Iowa Court of Appeals, they would uphold that conviction. They would affirm the proceedings were fair and the evidence was sufficient. Further appeals get denied, and it would solidify that verdict. So he's out of appeals, as far as I know, at this time. Now, throughout the legal process, the Tibbetts family would demonstrate some remarkable dignity. They would advocate not only for justice in Mollie's case, but for broader awareness around missing persons and also runner safety in particular, because she loved to jog. Scholarships would get established in Mollie's name, and her memory continues to this day to inspire acts of kindness and community support. The trial also sparked wider conversations nationally, especially as it relates to runner safety. So Cristhian Rivera's life as a free man, it ended on August 31st of 2021. He starts serving his sentence of life without the possibility of parole, and he's currently incarcerated at what's known as Anamosa State Penitentiary, which is a maximum security facility in eastern Iowa. In this particular prison, it has thick walls, structured routines, and it's where many of the state's most serious offenders serve their time. The penitentiary was established in 1872, and at that time it was known as Iowa State Penitentiary at Anamosa, and it was originally intended as a reformatory for young offenders. So construction on this prison began in 1870, and it officially opened in 1873. Now, like many prisons of that era, it was designed with a focus on rehabilitation through labor, education, and discipline, and the facility was built using limestone quarried locally, giving it kind of a distinctive fortress-like appearance that still characterizes part of that institution today. And in its early years, Anamosa housed a mix of inmates, including those convicted of lesser crimes and youth offenders. It operated under the reformatory model, but over time, its role evolved. By the mid-20th century, it became a maximum security prison handling only the most serious offenders. And that facility would expand with additional housing units, admin buildings, and security infrastructure. Now, like many U.S. prisons, it faces the challenges you see pretty much everywhere: overcrowding, riots. Now, in my research, I even discovered that Anamosa once housed John Wayne Gacy, the infamous serial killer, for a short time on a sodomy charge before his later crimes in Illinois. In Anamosa, obviously a rough and dangerous prison, in March of 2021, it would gain national attention when two inmates, Michael Dutcher and Thomas Woodard, would use tools from a prison workshop to murder a correctional officer and a nurse during a failed escape attempt. So not a fun place to be, whether you're a prisoner or an officer in that facility. Now, as for Rivera, life without parole in Iowa in that prison, as you would think, means exactly that. No realistic path to release. He'll spend the rest of his days within the correction system. He's going to be subject to the strict rules and daily regimens of prison life. Typical days for inmates at this level you're looking at early wake-ups, counted movements, assigned work details, limited rec, meals in a controlled environment, and extensive security protocols. Contact with the outside world would be restricted to approved visits, mail, maybe an occasional phone call, and all of this monitored, of course. Now, it's important to mention that no amount of legal finality, if you will, can undo what happened on July 18th of 2018. Mollie Tibbetts, only 20 years old. She had dreams, relationships, a future filled with potential. Her family and friends still carry the weight of her absence every single day. In the years since her death, they turned grief into action. They established memorial scholarships, awareness efforts, and they become resilient. And that resilience is perhaps the only shade of light in this entire story. In this case, also serves as a reminder that evil doesn't always announce itself with warning signs. It can hide behind polite smiles, routine days, hard work. In rural communities, often viewed as kind of safe havens, they're not immune. This tragedy at its core was about one individual's evil choices and the devastating impact those choices had on an innocent life. To Mollie's family and friends, your strength has inspired me as I researched this one. To the investigators, prosecutors, jurors who sought the truth, thank you for doing that. And look, I got a surprise for you. I saved this for the end because it's a little bit lengthy. So if you want to listen to it, I saved it so you can listen to it. If you don't, shut the podcast off now. That's fine. But it's a little surprise for everybody. And it is the full testimony of Cristhian Rivera, who actually testified in his own defense on the stand in this trial of the murder of Mollie Tibbetts. And it's a little bit different because he didn't speak English. So he has the headphones on, and as the prosecutor asks questions and he responds back, there is an interpreter there that responds and says in English what he is saying in Spanish. So I saved this for the end. You're welcome to listen to it now. If not, I'll see you next week. Much love.
Defense may call its next witness.
Defense calls Cristhian Bahena Rivera.
Okay. Can you stay where you are? Ready. Sir, can I get you to raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. And Mr. B, would you please head to that chair, please? You may proceed.
Please state your full name.
Cristhian Bahena Rivera.
Cristhian Bahena Rivera.
Now, sir, you have two last names. Is that right?
Sí,
Yes.
The first last name is Bahena. Is that right?
sí,
Yes.
The second last name is Rivera.
sí.
Yes.
Now, that's something we don't see a lot with white people. Is that something that a Hispanic person often has?
Es la forma que se usa en México.
It is the way that is used in Mexico.
Explain for the jury what your two last names come from.
El primero por parte de mi papá y el segundo por parte de mi mamá.
The first one from my father and the second one from my mother.
If I were to call you Mr.,
Lo llama usted.
what would be the customary last name that I would
¿Cuál
use?
sería el nombre y el apellido que usualmente se usaría para llamarlo a usted?
Bahena.
Bahena.
All right, Mr. Bahena,
Señor Bahena.
where were you born?
¿Dónde nació usted?
En Guerrero, México.
In Guerrero, Mexico.
Where is Guerrero, Mexico?
¿Dónde queda Guerrero, México?
En la parte sur del país.
In the south part of the country.
Who is in your family?
¿En su familia quiénes son?
Mi papá, mi mamá y dos hermanas menores.
My mom, my father, and two younger sisters.
So you're the oldest of the family, is that right?
¿Familia es esto correcto?
Correcto.
Correct.
Approximately how many years apart are you and your middle
¿Cuál es la
sister?
diferencia entre usted y su hermana del medio?
4 años.
4 years.
What about your younger sister?
¿Qué tal su hermana menor?
Ella tiene 13.
She's 13.
13 years now?
13 años ahora.
Sí.
Yes.
Do your mother and father work for a
¿Su
living?
papá trabaja?
Mi mamá es ama de casa y mi papá trabaja.
My mother is a housewife and my father works.
Where does your father
¿Dónde
work?
trabaja su papá?
En labores de campo.
He works as a laborer on the fields.
Is that some job that he has had for some
¿Que
time?
lo ha tenido por mucho tiempo?
Toda su vida.
The entire life.
So as long as you remember, he's worked out in the fields, is that right?
¿Usted se recuerda siempre ha trabajado en los campos? ¿Es esto correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
What sort of jobs are available in your hometown?
Bueno, en su pueblo donde vive.
Pues limpiar pastizales, fumigar, cualquier tipo de mano de obra que sea necesaria.
Well, to cleaning the fields, any type of job that requires hand labor.
You're not paid in American dollars down in Mexico, is that right?
¿Es esto correcto? ¿En
No.
México?
No.
You're paid in pesos, is that right?
¿En pesos? ¿Es esto correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
With pesos, how much did your father make working?
Padre, ¿cuánto ganaba trabajando?
1,500 pesos cada semana.
1,500 pesos each week.
And 1,500 pesos, I understand the dollar fluctuates, but approximately how many pesos are there in a dollar?
Aproximadamente, ¿cuántos pesos hay en un dólar?
Alrededor de 20.
Around 20.
So that's about $75 per pay period, is that right?
$5 cada vez que le pagan, ¿es esto correcto?
Correcto.
Correct.
Did you attend any schooling when you were in Mexico?
¿Usted estuvo en México? ¿Usted fue a la escuela?
Sí.
Yes.
Where did you attend school?
¿Usted dónde fue a la escuela?
En mi pueblo.
In my hometown.
Describe what the school looked like.
Describa cómo se veía la escuela.
Muy pequeñas, no tan equipadas, solo lo necesario.
We're very little, not so high tech, just only what was necessary.
How many rooms were in your school?
¿Cuántos cuartos o salas de estudio había en su escuela?
3.
3.
Describe your home.
Describa su hogar.
Pues está construida de tierra y cemento y de techo de teja.
Well, it is built out of dirt and cement, and the roof is tile.
Do you have any sort of a kitchen?
¿Tiene alguna clase de cocina?
Solo lo necesario para cocinar.
Only what is needed for cooking.
And what is that, sir?
¿Y qué es eso, señor?
Un refrigerador, estufa.
Well, refrigerator, stove.
What about living spaces? Is there any sort of a living room or television
Ya
set?
sea una sala o un conjunto de televisión.
No solamente es un rectángulo y todos los cuartos se dividían con cortinas.
No, it is only just a rectangle, and then the rooms are divided by curtains.
Now,
Bueno, ahora.
sir, you went through, you graduated from your school, is that right?
Usted se graduó de su escuela, ¿es esto correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
How far do you go to graduate from school in Mexico?
¿Cuántos años usted va a la escuela para graduarse en México?
Alrededor de 9, 10.
Well, you go around 9, 10 years. I interpret will correct. You go around 9 to 10.
When you graduate, is that something that is celebrated in Mexico?
¿Que se celebra en México?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you have a lot of pictures of when you were in Mexico?
¿Cuándo usted estuvo en México?
No muchas.
Not a lot.
The last picture that you have with your family,
¿Con su familia?
is that from when you graduated?
¿Cuándo usted se graduó?
Sí.
Yes.
Sir, I'm
Señor.
going to bring up on your screen, that is Defendant's Exhibit FFF. Can you see anything?
¿Usted puede ver algo?
Sí.
Yes.
Describe what is in that picture.
¿Qué hay en esa foto?
Estoy con 2 de mis primos en la terminación de mi escuela.
I am with 2 of my cousins at the ending of my schooling.
Now I'd ask counsel to bring up Defendant's Exhibit G, or excuse
Perdón.
me, LLL.
L.
What is shown in that picture?
Muestra esa foto.
A mí, mis papás y mi hermana.
Well, me, my parents, and my sister.
Your Honor, at this time, I would offer Defendant's Exhibit FFF and LLL.
Mr. Brown?
It's our only objection is to relevance.
Objections overruled. At this time, defendants' exhibits F, FF, and LLL are admitted.
I'd move to publish, Your Honor.
Yo quiero publicarlas.
Granted.
Se otorga.
Now, sir, Defendant's Exhibit
La prueba de descargo.
FFF, what does this show?
Esto que muestra.
Yo y mis primos.
Me and my cousins.
You're dressed nicely, is that right?
Bueno, usted está vestido bien. ¿Es eso correcto?
Se puede decir.
You can say that.
Which one are you?
¿Cuál es usted?
El de en medio.
The one in the middle.
And what does this portray, sir?
¿Y esto qué muestra?
Una fotografía con mis primos cuando terminé el año escolar.
Just a picture with my cousins when I finished my school year.
Now, I'm going to ask counsel to pull up a Defendant's Exhibit LLL.
Prueba de descargo LLL.
What does this show?
¿Esto qué muestra?
El mismo día, pero con mis padres y mi hermana.
Well, the same day, but with my parents and my sister.
Now, sir, at some point in time, you decided to come to the United States, is that right?
Estados Unidos, ¿esto correcto?
Sí.
Yes. Yes.
When was it that you decided to come to the United
Estados
States?
Unidos.
Cuando recién acababa de cumplir 17 años.
When I had just turned 17 years old.
Now, you were aware that your father had brothers that lived in the United States, is that right?
Estados Unidos, ¿esto correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
And was it your understanding that they all lived close in proximity to each other?
¿Y en proximidad al uno al otro?
Sí.
Yes.
At some point in time, did you make the decision to come to the United
¿De
States?
venir a los Estados Unidos?
Sí.
Yes.
How does one get
¿Cómo
here?
es de que una persona llega aquí?
Cruzando la frontera.
Crossing the border.
Do you have to hire someone to help you?
¿Contratar a alguien para que lo ayude?
Sí.
Yes.
What is that called?
¿Eso cómo se llama esa persona?
Un coyote.
A coyote.
Let's talk about how you got to the United States. You first went to meet with the coyote, is that right?
Bueno, primero usted fue y se reunió con el coyote, ¿es eso correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
And where was that?
¿Y dónde tomó lugar esto?
En la frontera con Texas.
At the border with Texas.
When you got there, were you able to find this person?
¿Usted pudo encontrar a esta persona?
Sí.
Yes.
And then where did you go?
¿Y entonces a dónde fue?
A cruzar el río.
Then to cross the river.
How did you cross the river?
¿Cómo cruzó el río?
A bordo de una lancha inflable.
On an inflatable raft.
How many people were with you?
¿Cuántas personas estaban con usted?
9 o 10.
9 or 10.
Once you crossed the river, what did you do
¿Qué
next?
fue lo siguiente que hizo?
Pues hubo muchos pasos, pero recuerdo que caminamos alrededor de los puntos de chequeo de la frontera.
Well, there were many steps, but what I remember is we walk around the points of the checkpoints at the border.
So you walk around where border control is that right?
La patrulla de la aduana y de la frontera, ¿correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
And the next thing that you did is what?
¿Qué usted hizo? ¿Qué fue?
Llegar a Houston.
Arrived to Houston.
When you arrived to Houston, did you go anywhere?
¿Usted fue a alguna parte?
Un hotel.
At a hotel.
At the hotel, did you stay with anyone else?
¿Usted se quedó con alguien más?
Con las personas que crucé.
With the people that I crossed with.
So all 9 or 10 people were in this hotel room?
¿Estaban en esta habitación del hotel?
Sí.
Yes.
Where did you sleep?
¿Dónde dormió?
En el piso.
On the floor.
Next, what did you do,
Lo
sir?
siguiente, ¿qué fue lo que hizo, señor?
Viajamos al estado de Iowa.
We arrived at the state of Iowa.
Did you get there by vehicle?
¿Usted llegó ahí por vehículo?
Sí.
Yes.
Once you got there, did you meet your uncles?
¿Usted se reunió con sus tíos?
Sí.
Yes.
Where was that at in Iowa?
¿Dónde tomó lugar esto en Iowa?
En Teima.
In Tama.
Had you ever met any of these people that are your dad's brothers?
¿Personas que son los hermanos de su papá?
Los recuerdo cuando era muy pequeño, pero desde que se vinieron para acá no los había visto.
Well, I remember since I was very young, but since they came over here, I didn't.
So what you mean is that you think they've came to Mexico, some of them before, is that right?
Desde que ellos habían venido a México antes.
Sí.
Yes.
But
Pero,
you don't remember who and
¿usted no se
when.
recuerda quién o cuándo?
No.
No, I don't.
Once you meet with your dad's
Se
brothers,
reúne con los hermanos de su papá.
are you offered a place to stay?
¿A usted le ofrecen un lugar donde quedarse?
Sí.
Yes.
Where did you stay at?
¿Dónde se queda?
Con Luis Medina.
With Luis Medina.
Who is Luis Medina?
¿Quién es Luis Medina?
Es el esposo de uno de mis tías.
He is the husband of one of my aunts.
Once you settle into Iowa, how long did it take for you to find work?
¿Cuánto tiempo se demoró para encontrar un trabajo?
2 días.
2 days.
How were you able to find work so quickly?
¿Cómo usted puede encontrar trabajo tan rápido?
Uno de mis tíos lo encontró para mí.
One of my uncles find it for me.
Where did you start working at?
¿Dónde empezó a trabajar usted?
En una lechería en un pueblo llamado Blainstown.
At a dairy at a town called Blairstown.
What did you do at the dairy?
¿Qué es lo que usted hacía en esa lechería?
Ordeñar vacas.
I will milk cows.
When you worked there, did they require any sort of formal documents to verify you were a United States citizen?
¿Un ciudadano americano?
No.
No.
How were you paid?
¿Cómo le pagaban?
En cheques.
With checks.
And so they were written out to your name, Cristhian Bahena Rivera?
¿Cristhian Bahena Rivera?
Sí.
Yes.
What did you do at the dairy?
¿Qué era lo que usted hacía en la lechería?
Ordeñar vacas.
To milk cows.
How long did you work there?
¿Cuánto tiempo trabajó ahí?
Alrededor de 2 años y medio.
Around 2.5 years.
Once, at some point in time, did you decide to change employment?
¿Usted decidió cambiar de empleo?
Sí.
Yes.
And specifically, you went to Yarby Farms, is that right?
¿Es eso correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
How did you find the job at Yarby Farms?
Encontró el trabajo en Yarby Farms.
Me enteré que estaban contratando personas.
I found out that they were hiring people.
Did you talk with them?
¿Usted habló con ellos?
Sí,
Yes.
Was it a better paying job?
¿Este era un trabajo que pagaban mejor?
sí.
Yes.
What were you paid at Yarraby Farms?
¿Cuánto le pagaban en Jerby Farms?
$12 con 60 centavos.
$12 with 60 cents.
And that's per hour?
¿Y eso es por hora?
Sí,
Yes.
So you worked a lot, is that right, sir?
Entonces, usted trabajó mucho, ¿así es?
sí.
Yes.
There's been some testimony that you worked 12 hours a day when you worked, is that correct?
¿Así es?
Algunos días más.
Some days more.
And there's been testimony that you worked 12 out of 14 days, is that right?
¿Así es?
Sí,
Yes.
So at the very least, you would work 12 of the 14 days, 12 hours a day, is that right?
12 horas por día, ¿así es?
sí.
Yes.
On average, how much money would you bring home every 2 weeks?
Traía a su casa cada quincena.
Entre $1,500 y $1,600.
Between $1,500 and $1,600.
Now, sir, did Yarraby Farms require you to have notification or official documents?
O algunos documentos oficiales.
Sí,
Yes.
And did they require that right offhand?
¿Llegaron de eso a primer minuto de entrada?
sí, pero si no los tienes te dan tiempo de conseguir unos.
Yes, but if you don't have them, they'll give you time to get some.
So you started right away, is that right?
Inmediatamente, ¿así es?
Sí,
Yes.
When you started right away, how were you paid?
¿Cómo lo pagaron?
en efectivo.
Cash.
So they paid you cash until you were able to provide official documents, is that right?
Documentos oficiales, ¿así
Sí.
es?
Yes.
When you first introduced yourself to them, what did you say your name was?
¿Qué era su nombre?
Cristhian Bahena Rivera.
Cristhian Bahena Rivera.
Now, after you submitted documents, you had a new name, is that right?
Nuevo nombre, ¿así es?
Sí,
Yes.
What was that?
¿Qué fue eso?
John Bob.
John Budd.
Now, when you worked for Yarraby Farms, did they regularly refer to you as Christian?
Normalmente lo llamaron Cristian.
Algunas veces.
Sometimes.
Now, sir,
Señor.
it's customary for the oldest male to take care of his family, is that right?
Cuidar y mantener a su familia, ¿así es?
Normalmente.
Normally.
Did you provide any assistance to your family in Mexico?
¿Ayuda a su familia en México?
Sí,
Yes.
How much money would you send your family and how often?
¿Y con qué frecuencia?
alrededor de $700, $800 mensuales.
Around $700 or $800 per month.
How do you get that money to Mexico?
Manda ese dinero para México.
A través de las tiendas mexicanas.
Through the Mexican stores.
And would it be fair to say that there's a lot of Hispanics in this country that provide assistance to their families down in Mexico?
México.
La mayoría.
Most of them.
So it's not uncommon for our Hispanic population to go to the Mexican store and send money home. Is that right?
A su casa.
No.
Así es.
Correcto.
Correct.
So similar to you having two last names, more often than not, that's what our Hispanic population does. Is that right?
Población hispana. Así
Sí,
es.
sí.
Yes.
Now, at some point in time, you met a woman that testified yesterday.
A una mujer y ella testificó ayer.
Sí.
Yes.
How old were you when you met Iris Gamboa?
Iris Gamboa.
19.
19.
She was still in high school, is that right?
Así es.
Sí.
Yes.
Where were you at that you met her?
¿Dónde la conoció?
En una fiesta de 15 años.
At a 15-year-old birthday party.
In a birthday party, it's called a quinceañera, is that right?
Quinceañera. Así es.
Sí.
Yes.
What does that mean?
¿Qué significa eso?
Es en la creencia mexicana que cuando una niña pasa de ser niña a ser mujer.
In the Mexican belief, is when a girl goes from being a girl to a woman.
So a quinceañera is something that is often celebrated amongst females approaching adulthood. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
When you went to this party, describe, was it mostly Hispanics or were there white people at this party?
99% mexicanos.
99% Mexican.
And sir, you don't have any, I guess, it's not that you dislike white people. Would that be fair to say?
Correct.
Correct.
But you also in this country have routinely spent time with other Hispanics. Is that correct?
Sí.
Yes.
Now, Brooklyn, it has a fair amount of white population. You'd agree with me on that.
La mayoría.
Mostly.
And so would you come across white people in your day-to-day experiences?
Sí.
Yes.
But routinely when you're spending time with, when you're socializing, is it with other Hispanics?
Sí.
Yes.
What language is used?
Español.
Spanish.
So with Iris, you guys hit it off pretty quickly?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you become boyfriend and girlfriend fairly quickly?
8 días después de conocernos.
8 days after meeting.
How long were you in a relationship with Iris Gamboa?
4 años.
4 years.
At some point in time, did she become pregnant with a child?
Un año después de empezar nuestra relación.
1 year after starting our relationship.
Did you two eventually move in together?
Sí.
Yes.
And was that at the residence at Yaraby Farms that has been talked about?
Sí.
Yes.
At a certain point, it was decided for you and Iris to separate. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
She moved to a different residence. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you help her move?
Sí.
Yes.
And since then, have you agreed on a custodial and support relationship with Iris?
Sí.
Yes.
What she described yesterday, is that what you guys have been doing?
Sí.
Yes.
Now, sir, other than for this offense, have you ever been in jail or in custody?
No.
No.
Ever had any law enforcement contact other than what's been described with Deputy Kivy and then with law enforcement when you were arrested?
No.
No.
You're here illegally, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
Are you careful to avoid contact with law enforcement?
Muy cuidadoso.
Very careful.
Do you try not to drive around often?
Solo cuando es necesario.
Only when it's necessary.
Do you take back roads when you're able to?
Sí.
Yes.
Sir, when you talked to law enforcement when they brought you in from the dairy farm, approximately what time did you go to the sheriff's office?
Entre las 2 y 3 de la tarde.
Between 2 and 3 in the afternoon.
What time did you go to work that day?
A las 4:30 de la mañana.
So we're going to clarify. 4:30.
De la mañana.
4:30 in the morning.
Do you remember when law enforcement showed up at Yaraby Farms?
Sí.
Yes.
And what do you remember?
Estaba trabajando y mi patrón llegó donde yo estaba y me dijo que nos necesitaban en la oficina y que probablemente había problemas para mí.
I was working, and my boss came to the area where I was, and he told me that we were needed in the office, and there was probably going to be troubles for me.
What did you think those troubles were?
En ese momento no lo sabía.
At that time, I didn't know.
Do you know what a raid is?
¿Usted sabe qué es una redada?
Cuando va la migra.
When immigration comes,
And have you heard of immigration coming and kind of rounding up illegal Hispanics?
Sí.
yes.
Were you afraid that was what was going to happen here?
Por un momento sí.
For a moment, yes.
Now, at some point in time, you agreed to go to the sheriff's office, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And you were interrogated for 11 plus hours, is that right?
Correcto.
Correct.
Did you tell law enforcement the truth that night?
No toda.
Not all.
Mollie Tibbetts was in the trunk of your car, isn't that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And you did not tell them what really happened, isn't that right?
Correcto.
Correct.
Let's talk about what happened that night. On July 18th, 2018, you got home from work, is that right?
Correcto.
Correct.
When you got home, is there anything that you planned to prepare for the next day?
Sí.
Yes.
What is that?
Tenía pensado limpiar mi carro porque el siguiente día iba a salir a comer con una muchacha.
I had planned to clean out my car because the next day I was planning on going out with a girl.
So you had a date lined up?
Sí.
Yes.
So you get home, do you shower?
No, me dirigí a la casa de mi tío a pedirle una aspiradora para limpiar mi carro.
No. I went to my uncle's house to ask him for a vacuum cleaner to clean my car.
Where does your uncle live?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Did you end up going to your uncle's and speaking with him?
No, él no estaba en su casa.
No, he wasn't at home.
Did you go ahead and take the vacuum?
Correcto.
Correct.
That's something that wouldn't bother him from prior dealings, is that right?
Debido a los arreglos que usted ha hecho con él en el pasado, ¿así es?
No, y de hecho le llamé para decirle que la había tomado.
No, and in fact, I called him to tell him that I had taken it.
So you get the vacuum, and then where do you go?
A mi casa.
To my house.
When you get to your house, what do you do?
Realicé que todavía el sol estaba muy caliente afuera para estar limpiando el carro y decidí entrar a darme un baño.
I realized that the sun was still very strong. It was too strong to clean my car, so I decided to go in and take a shower.
Approximately what time did you take a shower at your home?
Alrededor de 6:30.
About 6:30.
After you took a shower, what did you do?
Salí del baño.
I left the bathroom.
What did you see?
Dos personas en mi sala.
2 people in my living room.
Those 2 people in your living room, how were they dressed?
Con suéteres y tapados de la cara.
With sweaters and their faces covered.
Describe the color of the clothing that they were wearing.
Era ropa oscura.
It was dark clothing.
Can you describe what the build of either of these people?
Uno era un poco grande y gordo, el otro era mi misma estatura y un poco musculoso.
One of them was bigger and a little bit fatter, and one of them was about my stature and a little bit stronger, burly.
Did those men have any sort of weapons?
Sí.
Yes.
Describe which man had which weapon.
El más grande miré que tenía un arma y el otro tenía una navaja.
The bigger one, I could see that he had a gun, and the smaller one, I could see that he had a knife.
Describe the gun.
Describe el arma.
Pues no sé mucho de armas, solamente puedo decir que era negra.
I don't know a lot about guns. I can just say that it was black.
What about the knife?
La navaja.
Era una navaja mediana, color camuflajeado.
It was a medium-sized knife, camouflaged color.
What did these men say or do?
Esos hombres, ¿o qué hicieron?
Que no hiciera nada tonto y todo iba a estar bien.
That I shouldn't do anything stupid and everything was going to be okay.
What happened
¿Qué pasó
next?
después?
Estuvimos ahí por un buen rato.
We were there for a long while.
And did anything happen while you were there?
Algo pasó mientras que estaban ahí.
Pues solamente estaban ahí murmurando y ahí estuvimos durante un largo rato.
Well, they were just there whispering, and we were there for a long while.
At that point in time, were they ever violent towards you or aggressive towards
En ese
you?
momento, durante ese tiempo, ¿ellos estaban violentos o agresivos en contra de usted?
No,
No.
Did you comply with all of their instructions?
¿Usted cumplió con todas las instrucciones de ellos?
sí,
Yes.
Did you argue with them?
¿Usted argumentó, discutió con ellos?
no.
No.
Did anything else happen at the
¿Más pasó
residence?
en la casa?
No hasta que salimos de la casa.
Not until we left the house.
Once you left the house, what happened?
Salieron de la casa, ¿qué pasó?
Subimos al carro.
We got into the car.
And when you get into the car, which man gets in which seat?
Se sube a qué asiento.
El más grande en la parte de atrás y el más pequeño a un lado mío.
The bigger one in the back seat, and the other one gets in the seat beside me.
So the smaller one is the one with the knife, is that right?
Con la navaja, ¿así es?
Sí,
Yes.
And then did you drive?
¿Y usted manejó?
sí.
Yes.
When you drove, did they tell you where to go?
Entonces, ¿le dirigieron a dónde manejar?
Solo me dijeron que manejara derecho.
They just told me to drive straight.
Did they make any comments while you were
¿Es que
driving?
usted iba manejando?
Sí, uno le dijo al otro algo sobre alguien corriendo.
Yes, one of them told the other one. One of them said to the other one something about someone running.
Now, sir, you don't speak much English, is that right?
¿Así es?
Correcto.
Correct.
How were you able to tell what they were
¿Cómo
saying?
entender lo que estaban diciendo?
Pues no sé hablar mucho inglés, pero entiendo como lo básico.
Well, I don't know how to speak a lot of English, but I understand the basics.
And so you were able to understand that's what was said,
Entonces,
is that
usted
right?
logró entender que eso es lo que ellos dijeron. ¿Así es?
Correcto.
Correct.
Once you get to Brooklyn, what happens?
¿Qué pasa?
Solo entramos al pueblo por la parte, se podría decir la parte trasera del pueblo.
We just went into town. We went into town by what you could say would be the back way into town.
Is there a specific road that you came in on?
¿Específico en la cual, por la cual usted entró?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you know what that road is?
¿Qué es ese camino?
No sé el número de la carretera.
I don't know the name of the road.
Sir, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 5, and that's already in the record, so if we could publish it. Now, sir, you've seen this exhibit before, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And there's a road that is described as 385th Avenue on the screen, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
Is that the road that you followed on your way into Brooklyn?
Correcto.
Correct.
When you followed that road, did you see anyone?
¿A alguien?
Sí.
Yes.
Who did you see?
¿Quién miró?
A una persona corriendo.
A person jogging.
And sir, did you know that person at that time?
¿Esa persona en ese entonces?
No.
No.
Ever met Mollie Tibbetts before?
¿Había conocido a Mollie Tibbetts antes?
No.
No.
But now, do you recognize or believe that person was Mollie Tibbetts?
¿Fue Mollie Tibbetts?
Así es.
That's right.
When she was she running out of town?
¿Saliendo del pueblo?
Sí,
Yes.
And you're driving into town, is that correct?
Entrando del pueblo, así es.
sí.
Yes.
What happens next?
Solo seguimos manejando
We just continue driving.
y después me piden que dé la vuelta.
And then they asked me to turn around.
When you turned around, were you in town?
¿Estaba en el pueblo?
Sí.
Yes.
What happened
¿Qué
next?
pasa después?
Volvimos a salir por el lugar donde entramos.
We went back out through the same way we came in.
Tell me what happened next,
¿Qué
sir.
pasa después, señor?
Manejamos todo derecho, toda la misma ruta
We drove straight on the same route.
y me volvieron a pedir que regresara.
George's going to clarify.
¿Volvieron a pedir que qué?
Y me volvieron a pedir que regresara.
And then they asked me to turn back.
When you were in town, describe these men and anything that they were doing in the vehicle.
Ellos estaban haciendo en el vehículo.
Solo cuando íbamos a entrar al pueblo, ellos trataban de agacharse un poco lo más que podían en los asientos.
Just that when we were coming into town, they tried to kneel down, crouch down as much as they could in the seats.
You don't remember the exact route that you drove in Brooklyn, is that right?
Así es.
Correcto.
Correct.
But you've seen the surveillance camera from Logan Collins' surveillance footage, is that right?
Las de vigilancia de Logan Collins, así es.
Correcto.
Correct.
Do you think that likely was your vehicle?
Eso probablemente fue su vehículo.
Oh, sí.
Oh, yes.
It looks like your vehicle, would you agree with that?
¿Usted está de acuerdo con eso?
Sí.
Yes.
And you remember driving around in that area?
En esa área.
Pues no recuerdo que precisamente si es esa área, pero sí es mi carro.
I don't remember if it was exactly that area, but that's my car.
Now, how many times did you drive by Ms. Tibbetts?
Y ahora, ¿cuántas veces pasó usted manejando por la señora Tibbetts?
Alrededor de 3 o 4.
Around 3 or 4.
And that was that direction of these men, is that right?
De estos hombres, así es.
Correcto.
Correct.
Let's talk about the last time that you drove by Ms. Tibbetts.
La señora Tibbetts.
La última vez que nos encontramos con ella, ella venía de regreso hacia el pueblo.
The last time that we met her, she was on her way back into town.
And specifically, sir, she was running on 385th Street, is that right?
385, así es.
Así es.
That's correct.
May I approach?
¿Me permite acercar? Sí.
Sir, I'm going to hand you this laser pointer.
Bueno, aquí apunta como láser.
Now, sir, if you could point to the area that you met Ms. Tibbetts the last time.
No se muestra en ese mapa.
You cannot see it on the map.
All right, we're out of batteries here. Is it all right if he gets up?
Está se separa así.
Sir, go ahead and get up and
Prosiga.
point to the general
Esa es
area
la
where you
área
were.
general donde usted está.
Anna, did you translate it?
Interpret, did not hear any words.
Okay.
No interpreto, no oyó ninguna palabra.
And Christian, I'm not trying to trick you. I know you said that it's not on the map where you met her the last time. Is that right?
Usted la vio la última vez. ¿Esto correcto?
Correcto.
Correct.
Could you point to the direction of the area outside of the map where you saw her?
Fuera del mapa, ¿no se la vio ahí?
Now, sir, I'm going to bring up another exhibit. Now, sir, is the place where this woman was running shown on this map?
Yes.
Can you point to the area on the exhibit where this woman was?
Around,
And you can go ahead and sit down, sir. Now, you pointed to an area that was just before the intersection of 385th Avenue and 200th Street, is that right?
Sí.
yes.
So when you're driving on that road, are you driving towards town or away from town?
¿Hacia la ciudad o saliendo de la ciudad?
Saliendo.
Leaving town.
When you see Ms. Tibbetts, is she driving or is she running towards town or away from town?
¿Hacia la ciudad o alejándose de la ciudad?
Hacia el pueblo.
Towards the town.
So you meet her head on with your vehicle, is that right?
Frente a frente con su vehículo, ¿es esto correcto?
Correcto.
Correct.
Does she make any statements or anything like that?
¿O algo por esa clase?
No.
No.
She doesn't wave or anything like that?
No saluda ni nada así.
No.
No.
What happens
¿Qué es
next?
lo que pasa?
Nos seguimos de largo y donde se forma la cruz, me piden que dé la vuelta otra vez.
Well, we continue forward, and where you come to the intersection, the cross, then they ask me to turn back.
So the intersection of 385th and 200th Street, is that right?
Calle de 200, ¿es esto correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you do that?
¿Usted hizo eso?
Sí.
Yes.
Once you did that, did you drive back towards town on 385th Avenue?
En la avenida 385.
Sí.
Yes.
What happened
¿Qué es lo
next?
siguiente que sucede?
Manejamos un poco y unos metros adelante me piden que que me pare.
We drove for a little bit, and then some meters forward, they asked me to stop.
Were you able to see the woman at that
En
time?
ese momento, ¿era capaz de ver a la mujer?
No.
No.
Describe the terrain.
Describa cómo era esta carretera.
Era una carretera derecha, pero había como ciertas colinas.
Well, it was like a straight road, but there were like some hills to it.
Ms. Freeze, let me stop you there. We do need to take a recess at this time. Members of the jury, I want to remind you of your admonition. We'll take a 10-minute recess. Please leave your notebooks where they are, and you may leave at this time. And Mr. Bahena, you may step down at this time. We're in the presence of the jury. Mr. Bahena, the defendant, is present along with all the attorneys of record. Sir, I want to remind you you're still under oath. And with that, Ms. Freeze, you may continue.
So, sir, you're driving back on that road, back into town, is that right?
Esta carretera de nuevo hacia la ciudad, ¿es esto correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
And at some point, before you get back into town, were you directed to stop?
¿Usted le ordenaron que parara?
Correcto.
Correct.
Who told you to stop?
¿Quién me dijo que parara?
La persona que estaba a un lado mío.
The person that was next to me.
So the man in the front seat, is that right?
En el asiento de copiloto delante, ¿correcto?
Correcto.
Correct.
Also the man with the knife.
El que tenía la navaja.
Sí.
Yes.
What happened
¿Qué
next?
fue lo siguiente que pasó?
Uno de ellos se bajó del carro.
One of them got out of the car.
Which one?
¿Cuál?
El de la parte de enfrente.
The one that was on the front.
So the guy with the knife.
Entonces el tipo con la navaja.
Correcto.
Correct.
What did he do?
¿Qué fue lo que él hizo?
Él solo empezó a ir hacia enfrente, hacia la dirección del pueblo.
Well, he just started going towards forward, towards the town direction.
How long was he gone?
Él estuvo, se fue. ¿Por cuánto tiempo se fue?
Alrededor de 10-12 minutos.
Around 10 to 12 minutes.
The guy in the back, was he doing anything?
¿Estaba haciendo algo?
No, solamente estaba callada en la parte de atrás.
No, he was only quiet in the back part.
Did he seem nervous?
Parece que está nervioso.
Cuando empezó a pasar el tiempo, él empezó a ponerse nervioso, a murmurar en la parte de atrás.
Well, when the time started going by, he started kind of whispering in the back.
Did you hear him say anything?
¿Dijo algo?
Pues se escuchaban muchas cosas, pero lo único que lo único que se pudo escuchar fue que él dijo, "Come on, Jack."
You could hear a lot of things, but I guess what I heard him saying is, "Come on, Jack."
Now, sir, you've heard Mr. Freese and I at least insinuate that Dalton Jack could have been involved in this. You've heard the trial, correct?
¿El juicio, correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
Are you telling this jury that Dalton Jack was one of those people?
¿Una de esas personas?
No.
No.
Do you know who either of the people were that were in that car with you?
¿Una de esas personas que estaban en el carro con usted?
No.
No.
What happened next?
¿Qué fue lo siguiente que pasó?
Alrededor de los 12 minutos, la persona regresa de vuelta al carro.
Around like 12 minutes after, that person comes back to the car.
And when they come back to the car, do they get in?
¿Ellos se suben?
Él se sube.
He gets in.
What happens
¿Qué es
next?
lo siguiente que pasa?
Me piden que siga manejando.
They ask me to continue driving.
Did you continue to drive into town?
Entonces, manejando hacia la ciudad.
Sí.
Yes.
Did you reach town?
¿Usted llegó a la ciudad?
No.
No.
Were you directed to stop at some point?
¿Tengo que parar en algún momento?
Sí.
Yes.
Can you describe for the jury approximately how far you traveled?
¿Cuál fue la distancia que usted manejó?
No más de 300 metros.
Not more than 300 meters.
What were you directed to do once you drove 300 meters?
¿Qué hacía cuando usted manejó los 300 metros?
Que me detuviera y les prestara mis llaves.
To stop and to hand them my keys.
What happened
¿Qué
next?
fue lo siguiente que pasó?
Primero la persona que estaba en la parte de adelante se bajó del carro y después el que estaba en la parte de atrás.
Well, first the person that was in front got out of the car, and then the person who was behind.
What happened
¿Qué
next?
fue lo siguiente que pasó?
Escuché que abrieron la cajuela.
I've heard them opening the trunk.
What happened
¿Qué
next?
fue lo siguiente?
Solamente sentí un movimiento en el carro y se volvió a cerrar la cajuela.
I just heard a movement in the car, and then that the trunk closed.
Did the men get back in the vehicle?
¿Se subieron al vehículo?
Sí.
Yes.
What happened next?
¿Qué fue lo siguiente que pasó?
Me pidieron que me diera la vuelta.
They asked me to turn around.
Did you do that?
¿Usted hizo eso?
Sí.
Yes.
What did they say next?
¿Qué fue lo siguiente que le dijeron?
Que continuaba manejando y me indica que vaya hacia la terracería.
They asked me to continue driving and to go towards the gravel road.
Did you do that?
¿Usted hizo eso?
Sí.
Yes.
What happened next?
¿Qué fue lo siguiente que pasó?
Solo recuerdo estar manejando muy rápido.
I just remember to be driving fast.
At some point in time, did you stop?
No.
No.
So you continued to drive, is that right?
Sí, por varias millas.
Yeah, for several miles.
Right. And what happened next?
¿Qué pasó?
Llegamos a una parte a una carretera pavimentada.
We got to an area, we got to a road that was paved.
Me pidieron que la cruzara.
And they asked me to cross that.
And then you continued on gravel road?
Entonces usted continuó en una carretera de terracería.
Sí.
Yes.
Do you remember which direction you were going?
¿Se recuerda qué rumbo
No sé la dirección, solamente sé que era todo derecho.
I don't remember the address. All I know that it was straight.
So you continue driving, is that right?
Continúa manejando, ¿es eso correcto?
Correcto.
Correct.
How long did you continue
¿Por
driving?
cuánto tiempo continuó manejando?
Tal vez 5 o 8 minutos.
Perhaps 5 to 8 minutes.
At some point in time, did they direct you to pull in somewhere?
De que usted, bueno, se entrara a una parte.
Llegamos al frente de una casa blanca.
We arrived like in front of a White House.
Sir, I'm going to bring up State's Exhibit 25. Sir, you've seen State's Exhibit 25, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And you generally agree that this was the area that Mollie Tibbetts' body was found, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
When you mention a White House, is that what you're talking about in State's Exhibit 25?
Correcto.
Correct.
Now, sir, I'd ask you to get up and to point to the jury where it is that you were directed to turn if you see it. Tell me what happened next.
Ahí me pidieron que me regresara.
They asked me there to go back.
So you turned in at the house and then you drove back, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
Now, sir, I'm now showing you State's Exhibit 28, or excuse me, 26. This is the same area from a different direction, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
When you came back, was there a point in time that you were told to turn?
Sí.
Yes.
Where were you told to turn, if that's shown on State's Exhibit 26?
A la entrada que está en el maizal.
At the entrance of the cornfield.
If you could get up again and show the jury on State's Exhibit 26, I'd appreciate it. Now, sir, State's Exhibit 27, this shows the entrance of the cornfield that you just pointed to. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
Have you ever been to that location before?
No.
No.
Did you understand really where you were?
No.
No.
Once you pull in, what happens next?
Solo me piden que apague el carro.
They only asked me to turn the car off,
So, y empiezan a bajarse del carro.
and they start getting off the car.
So they get out, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
Did they take your keys?
Sí, tomaron mis llaves y mi teléfono.
Yes. They took my keys and my phone.
What happened next?
Antes de irse, uno de ellos me dice que no fuera a decir nada de lo que había pasado.
Before they leave, one of them tells me not to say anything about what had happened.
Que ellos conocían a Iris y conocían a mi hija.
That they knew Iris and that they knew my daughter.
Que si decía algo, ellos se iban a encargar de ellas.
That if I said something, they would take care of them.
After that, what happened?
Ellos me dijeron que solo esperara unos minutos y me fuera.
They told me just to wait a few minutes and to leave.
What happened next?
Me bajé de mi carro porque no tenía mis llaves.
I got out of the car because I didn't have my keys.
So, obviamente sabía que había algo en la cajuela.
Well, obviously, I knew there was something in the trunk.
And why did you think there was something, or why did you know there was something in the trunk?
Porque anteriormente había sentido cuando pusieron algo en la cajuela.
Because previously I had felt when they had placed something or put something in the trunk.
Did you look in the trunk?
Sí,
Yes,
What did you see?
un cuerpo.
a body.
Was that the body of Mollie Tibbetts?
Sí.
Yes.
At that point in time, did it look like she was alive?
Al principio miré como algún movimiento, pero después no miré ningún tipo de movimiento.
Well, at the beginning I saw like a little bit of movement, but then after there was no movement.
Did she have injuries to her body?
No miré.
I did not look.
What did you do next?
Estuve un par de minutos pensando qué hacer, pero fue cuando decidí solo bajarla del carro.
Well, I stayed there a couple of minutes thinking what to do. And then I decided to take the body out.
Why didn't you call the police, sir?
Porque estaba asustado.
Because I was scared.
Why were you scared?
Porque si hubiera llamado a la policía, esto es algo que no se miraría nada bien.
Well, if I would have called the police, it's something that it wouldn't have been seen good. It wouldn't have been right.
Did you have any reason to believe that Mollie Tibbetts' life could be saved?
No.
No.
When you picked her up from the trunk, describe her body.
Solo muy pesado.
It was very heavy.
What about any signs of life that you saw to Mollie Tibbetts?
Ninguna.
None.
How was she dressed?
Con ropa deportiva.
With sports clothing.
What did you do next, sir?
Solo como pude la bajé del carro y decidí ponerla en el maíz.
The way I could, I picked her up and then I put her in the cornfield.
Did you cover her with corn?
Sí.
Yes.
Why did you do that?
Porque no quise dejarla como que estuviera muy expuesta al sol.
Because I didn't want to leave her, I didn't want her to be too exposed to the sun.
When you left her, was she clothed?
La dejé exactamente como estaba en la cajuela.
I left her exactly how she was in the trunk.
And at that time, do you recall her having any shorts on?
Sí.
Yes.
What about her sports bra? Did it cover her chest?
Tenía todo puesto, solamente tenía un zapato quitado.
Everything, she had everything on. There was only one shoe that was off.
What did you do after you laid her in the corn?
Traté de ir a la casa.
I tried to go home.
Were you able to figure out how to get home?
No.
No.
How were you able to find your way home?
Lo busqué en mi teléfono.
I looked at my phone.
And did you specifically use your phone to find directions?
Sí.
Yes.
Now, Mollie Tibbetts' phone, Fitbit, and her earbuds were left in your car. Is that right?
Sí, estaba en la cajuela junto con mis llaves y mi teléfono.
Yeah, they were in the trunk along with my phone and my keys.
What did you do with Mollie Tibbetts' phone, Fitbit, and her headphones or her earbuds?
Las dejé a la orilla de la carretera.
I left it on the side of the road.
Now, sir, you didn't tell a soul about this for over a month, is that right?
Correcto.
Correct.
And if you weren't approached, you would have taken this night with you to the grave, isn't that right?
Lo más probable.
Most probably.
Why didn't you call the police or let investigators know what happened?
Porque sabía que si lo hacía de alguna otra forma iba a estar involucrado.
Because I knew if I did it in any way, I was going to be involved.
And specifically, were you afraid for your ex-girlfriend and your daughter?
Judge, I'm not objecting.
Sustain and ask that the question be rephrased, please.
Were there any other reasons that you did not call law enforcement?
Sí.
Yes.
What were they?
Porque recordaba que ellos me decían si decía algo, iban a hacerle algo a mi familia, a mi hija y a mi exnovia.
Because I remember that they said that if I would say something, they were going to do something to my family, my ex-girlfriend, my daughter.
They used her name, is that right?
Correcto.
Correct.
Do you know Ulysses Felix?
Sí.
Yes.
How do you know Ulysses Felix?
¿Cómo conoce usted Ulysses Felix?
Es primo de mi exnovia.
It is my ex-girlfriend's cousin.
So it would be Iris's cousin, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
Has he been to your home before?
Sí.
Yes.
Has he spent the night before?
Sí.
Yes.
Now, you're not alleging that Ulysses was in that car, is that right?
Correcto.
Correct.
But Ulysses did spend time with your, I guess, Hispanic group of people, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
He would attend various functions, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you know his parents?
Sí.
Yes.
How did you know them?
Trabajábamos en el mismo lugar.
We worked at the same place.
Now, Ulysses also attended Brooklyn school, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And unlike you, did he seem to have a fair amount of white friends?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, sir, let's go through this interview. You were interrogated for over 11 hours, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
Describe how the interview progressed through those 11 hours.
Pues al principio me empezaron a hacer preguntas normales, como de dónde era, cómo me llamaba, todo lo básico.
Well, at the beginning, they were asking me common questions like where I was from. I need to clarify.
¿De dónde era y qué más se nos dijo?
Mi rutina.
My routine and all that.
Do you recall them telling you that they weren't with immigration?
Sí.
Yes.
And when they told you that, did you believe them?
Por un momento.
For a period of time.
Did they continue to be more confrontational with you?
Some object is leading.
Sustain.
Tell me how the interview progressed.
Pues ellos me empezaron a acusar con cosas.
Well, they started accusing me with things.
What sorts of things did they accuse you with?
Con un par de fotos.
With a couple of pictures.
Ellos dijeron que habían encontrado cabello de la muchacha en mi cajuela.
They said that they have found a woman's hair in my trunk.
Y que habían ubicado su teléfono junto al mío.
And that they have found her phone or pointed my phone with her phone with mine.
So they suggested that they had phone activity that tied your phone and Mollie's phone together?
Object is leading.
Sustained. Please rephrase.
Sir, please make the jury understand what you meant about the evidence that they confronted you with your phone.
Quiere decir con la evidencia que ellos se enfrentaron con usted acerca del sitio del phone.
Que ellos tenían información que mi teléfono y el de Mollie estaban viajando juntos.
That they had information that my telephone and Mollie's telephone were traveling together.
Did they make any other suggestions that they had specialized technology with reference to your phone?
Especializada en una referencia a su teléfono.
No,
No. No.
Did they ever suggest to you that what you were saying was not true?
sí,
Yes.
How often did they suggest that?
a cada rato.
Every so often.
Did you ever believe that things would be better if you told them what they wanted to hear?
Sí,
Yes.
Was that often?
Eso fue con mucha frecuencia.
sí,
Yes.
Did they ever use the phrase help yourself?
Ayudarse a sí mismo.
sí.
Yes.
And what did you take that to mean when they used that phrase?
Ellos utilizaron esa frase.
Pues que si yo los ayudaba, les decía lo que ellos querían escuchar, me podían ayudar.
Well, that if I helped them, if I told them what they wanted to hear, that they would help me.
Did they confront you or did they tell you that often?
Pero eso con mucha frecuencia.
Sí,
Yes.
At some point, you said that you blacked out. Is that right?
Así es.
sí.
Yes.
Was that your idea?
Esa fue su idea.
No, ellos lo dijeron primero.
No. They said it first.
And specifically, was there a suggestion made that you might be crazy?
Que a lo mejor
Objections clause
protesta.
leading.
Eso
Overruled.
la respuesta. No ayudar.
Algo así dijeron que personas a veces pueden estar enfermos y olvidar cosas.
Something like that. Something like that sometimes people can be sick and they can forget things.
Now, sir, did you intend to tell these men the truth about what really happened that night?
La verdad sobre lo que realmente pasó esa noche.
No,
No.
Why not?
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué no?
porque mi mente tenía a mi hija.
Because in my mind, I had my daughter.
So no matter what happened, you did not plan to tell them what really happened.
Esto que realmente pasó.
Sí.
Right.
As this interrogation went on, tell me about your alertness.
Aparte de si usted estaba alerta.
Pues ya estaba muy cansado y tenía mucho sueño.
Well, I was already tired and I was very sleepy.
Now, you saw some videotape of you falling asleep during this interrogation, is that right?
Así es.
Sí,
Yes.
Were those the only times that you fell asleep during the interrogation?
Durante la interrogación.
no, no estoy seguro, pero fueron muchas veces.
I'm not sure, but there were many times.
At some point in time, the investigators asked you to try to take them to Mollie Tibbetts, is that right?
Para a Mollie Tibbetts. Así es.
Sí,
Yes.
And you agreed, is that right?
sí.
Así es.
Yes.
Why did you agree to do that at that point in time?
Principalmente, primero porque ya estaba muy cansado y ya quería que parara.
Well, for one, because I was already very tired and I wanted it to stop.
Y lo más importante fue porque me dijeron que me pusiera en la posición de la familia de la muchacha y que imaginara que ella, que si hubiera sido mi hija, que hubiera hecho yo.
And most importantly, because they told me to put myself in the family's position and to think of her that if she was my daughter, what would I have done?
So you drive out, well, you don't drive, but you ride out to the body, is that right?
Acompaña al cuerpo, así es.
Sí,
Yes.
Were you able to provide assistance in finding Mollie Tibbetts?
sí.
Yes.
Did they seem to have some idea already where she was?
¿Dónde estaba ella?
No podría estar seguro de eso.
I can't be sure about that.
Describe the car ride out there.
Del rifle en el carro para allá.
Pues yo les pedí que fuéramos a la carretera que está rumbo a mi trailer
Well, I asked them to go to the highway that's on the way to my trailer
para tener algún punto para ubicarme.
to have a point of, well, to get oriented.
Did they do that?
Ellos lo hicieron.
Sí.
Yes.
And tell me about the trip then to the body.
Entonces, hacia el cuerpo.
Solo les dije que manejaran derecho y no pararan.
So I told them to drive straight and not to stop.
What happened next?
¿Qué pasó después?
No paramos hasta llegar hasta la Casa Blanca que se mira en la fotografía.
We didn't stop until we got to that White House that you can see in the photo.
When you got to the White House, what did you do?
La Casa Blanca, ¿qué hizo usted?
Pues ahí realicé que ese era más o menos el lugar, pero que ya nos habíamos pasado un poco.
Well, that's when I realized that that was more or less the place, but that we had gone past it a little bit.
So, did you direct them to turn around?
Dirigió que dieran la vuelta.
Correcto.
Correct.
Were you able to assist them in finding the body?
Encontrar el cuerpo.
Sí.
Yes.
Sir, how tall are you?
¿Cuánto mide usted de altura?
5'7".
5'7".
How much do you weigh today or now?
O ahorita.
La última vez que me pesaron en la cárcel fue 148 libras.
The last time that I was weighed in the jail was 148 pounds.
How much did you weigh when you were arrested for the death of Mollie Tibbetts?
125 libras.
125 pounds.
No further
No
questions.
tengo más preguntas.
Mr. Brown, you may cross-examine.
Thank you.
Mr. Bahena, you led officers to Mollie Tibbetts' body, is that correct?
Los oficiales al cuerpo de Mollie Tibbetts, así es.
Sí.
Yes.
You remember your interview with
Recuerda que
Officer Pamela Romero?
oficial Pamela Romero.
Sí.
Yes.
You recall it even here today, is that
Se
true?
recuerda de esa entrevista aún hoy, así es.
La mayoría de las cosas.
Most of the things.
Okay, you were not too tired to remember what you and she talked about at the sheriff's office, is that right?
En la oficina de policía, así es.
¿Podría repetir la pregunta?
What? Could you repeat the question?
You were not too tired
No tenían demasiado sueño
to remember what you and Pamela Romero talked about at the sheriff's office.
dijeron en la oficina de policía.
Si no estoy cansado ahora o en ese tiempo.
If I'm not too tired now or at that time?
At that time.
En ese entonces.
Pues recuerdo, algunas veces estaba cansado, pero si una persona te está hablando, obviamente vas a estar alerta.
Well, there were some times that I was tired, but obviously if someone's talking to you, you're going to be alert. Right. And you have no issue, you were able to understand her questions, correct?
Las preguntas de ella, así es.
Sí.
Yes. There was no language barrier between the two of you?
¿De idiomas entre ustedes dos?
No que haya enterado.
No, none that I knew of.
Would you agree that you left the sheriff's office with Officer Romero and other officers at around 4:30 a.m. on July 28th, 2018?
¿Usted está de acuerdo que usted se fue?
I'm sorry, July 18th of 2018. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase the question, if I may. I misspoke the date. Did you leave with officers at 4:30 a.m. on August 21st of 2018?
Sí.
Yes.
The sheriff's office.
de la oficina de policía.
Sí,
Yes.
And it was your request to go to your residence in or near Brooklyn, correct?
Muy cerca de Brooklyn. Así es.
sí,
Yes.
And whenever you got to your residence near Brooklyn, you were able to take them to the location where Mollie Tibbetts was found. Is that correct?
Donde encontraron a Mollie Tibbetts.
Sí.
Así es.
Yes.
Did you remain in the car while officers searched for Mollie Tibbetts at the location you took them to?
En el lugar a donde usted los llevó.
sí,
Yes.
At one point, the officers came to the car to get you out, correct?
Al carro para bajarlo, ¿correcto?
correcto.
Correct.
And you went back into the cornfield with the officers, is that right?
Así es.
A la orilla del maíz.
To the edge of the corn.
But there is a area where you could walk where corn wasn't growing,
Entrar donde no estaba creciendo maíz.
Correcto.
Correct.
and you took them to the edge of the corn.
Al margen, al borde del maíz.
Sí,
Yes.
That was some distance off the road, is that correct?
De la carretera, del aterrizal, así es.
sí,
Yes.
And you couldn't see that location from the edge of the road where you walked to, correct?
Del camino, al lugar donde usted caminó, así es.
así es.
That's correct.
And whenever you were standing at the edge of the corn, you pointed in the direction where Mollie Tibbetts was located, is that correct?
Encontraron a Mollie Tibbetts, así es.
Les dije aproximadamente en qué dirección podría estar.
I told them more or less in what direction she would be.
After you pointed in that direction, officers found Mollie Tibbetts, correct?
Encontraron a Mollie Tibbetts, así es.
Unos minutos después.
Some minutes afterwards.
Were you still present at the edge of the corn when they found her?
Al margen, al borde del maíz, cuando ellos la encontraron.
No,
No.
Were you taken back to the car?
Llevaron de nuevo al carro.
sí,
Yes.
You agree, Mr. Bahena, that you led officers to Mollie Tibbetts on August 21st of 2018?
Agosto de 2018.
correcto.
Correct.
You own a black Chevy Malibu, is that right?
Negro, correcto.
Sí,
It has a chromed
Yes.
mirror. I'm sorry. My bad. It has a chromed mirror.
Y tiene un espejo lateral en cromo.
sí,
Yes.
Is that a feature that you placed on the car yourself?
Es algo que usted agregó al carro usted mismo.
no,
No.
Was that feature on the vehicle when you purchased it?
Esa cosa ya estaba en el carro cuando usted lo compró.
sí,
Yes.
Your car also had chromed handles.
Tenía manijas en cromo.
sí,
Yes.
It also had spoked wheels.
Tenía monturas en rayas en cromo.
sí,
Yes.
You've been seated here in the courtroom for the entirety of the trial, is that right?
Durante todo el juicio, así es.
sí,
Yes.
You saw the videos that were played last week that show a car, correct?
Muestra un carro, así
Sí.
es.
Yes.
You agree that that's your vehicle.
Ese es su vehículo.
100%.
100%.
You also agree that Mollie Tibbetts was jogging in the area when your car is seen, is that right?
Cuando se ve su carro, así es.
No podría decir si estaba en esa área, pero lo único que puedo decir es que ese era mi carro.
I can't say if she was in the area. The only thing I can say is that was my car.
You told Officer Romero that you confronted Mollie Tibbetts on 385th, is that correct?
Mollie Tibbetts en la carretera 385, así es.
Sí,
Yes.
You never mentioned two other men, is that
Usted
true?
Nunca mencionó dos otros hombres, así es.
correcto.
Correct.
You told
Usted
Officer Romero that you were angry at Mollie Tibbetts, is that true?
¿Es verdad eso?
Creo que sí.
I think so.
You agree that
¿Está de acuerdo que
you saw Mollie Tibbetts on 385th, correct?
385, correcto?
Sí,
Yes. On July 18th of 2018, correct?
2018,
sí,
correcto?
Yes.
You also indicated to Officer Romero that
Oficial Romero.
Mollie Tibbetts became angry with you, is that correct?
¿Usted? ¿Es correcto eso?
correcto.
Correct.
that Mollie Tibbetts threatened to call the police. Is that correct?
Correcto.
Correct.
You never mentioned two other men to Officer Romero. Is that correct?
Sí.
Yes.
All right. You claim that you went to a cornfield where Mollie Tibbetts' body was placed with two other men.
Sí.
Yes.
These men had their faces covered.
Sí.
Yes.
They were wearing sweaters, you said?
Parecido a un suéter.
It was similar to a sweater.
So long sleeves
Sí.
Yes.
and long pants.
Sí.
Yes.
And what was covering their face exactly?
Tipo de gorro.
A type of hat.
Like a stocking cap?
Algo así.
Something like that.
So whenever you get to the cornfield, you're in your vehicle.
Sí.
Yes.
There's no other vehicle there.
No que yo haya visto.
Not that I saw.
Whenever you left the cornfield, you left alone.
Sí.
Yes.
The other two men that were there, did they just walk back?
Ellos corrieron hacia la carretera.
They ran towards the road.
So they ran towards the road and just disappeared?
Yo no los volví a ver, no sé dónde fueron.
I didn't see them again. I don't know where they went.
So you drove these two men out to the cornfield, correct?
¿Cómo? No entiendo.
How's that? I didn't understand.
You drove the two men in your Malibu to the cornfield where you dumped Mollie Tibbetts, correct?
Sí.
Yes.
And you're telling us that you drove back to your home alone,
Sí.
Yes.
and you happened to find your cell phone and the keys in the trunk of the car,
Sí.
Yes.
and these two men just disappeared.
Así es.
That's right.
Whenever you put Mollie Tibbetts into the corn, you concealed her body. Is that correct?
Se podría decir.
You could say that.
You placed corn stalks over her body. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And that covered her body so other people could not find her, correct?
Pues no estaba completamente cubierto.
She was not completely covered.
You knew Mollie Tibbetts' location for nearly 5 weeks, correct?
Sí.
Yes.
Before you told anyone in law enforcement. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
The two men that you say you were with, you don't know who they are,
Así es.
That's correct.
but you just happen to remember that one of them used the name Jack.
Sí.
Yes.
Mr. Bahena, you don't have a problem with blacking out, apparently. Is that true?
Correcto.
Correct.
You remember the details as you've described them here,
Sí.
Yes.
yet you told the officers, specifically Officer Romero, that you blacked out some details with regard to what happened to Mollie Tibbetts, correct?
Correcto.
Correct.
The two men that you say that came to your residence, did they just walk in?
No sabría decirle porque al momento cuando yo estaba bañándome.
I wouldn't know what to tell you because at that moment I was taking a shower.
So your claim is that you were taking a shower. When you get done with the shower, these two men are standing in your residence.
Sí.
Yes.
And they are covered head to toe so you cannot identify them.
Así es.
That's correct.
Do you have any idea how they got into your trailer?
Por la puerta.
Through the door.
The door was not locked?
No.
No.
Okay. You live in rural Poweshiek County at the time, is that correct?
Sí.
Yes.
Near Yerriby Farms?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you see any vehicle as to how these two men would have been transported to your residence?
No que yo haya visto.
Not that I saw.
So no car, to your knowledge.
No, no migré ningún carro fuera de mi trailer.
I did not see any car outside of my trailer.
Why would the two men in your trailer need your help?
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Did you have any connection to the two men that walked into your trailer that you know of?
No.
No.
Whenever you're at the Poweshiek County Sheriff's Office being interviewed by Pamela Romero, you're around police officers, correct?
Sí.
Yes.
You're in a safe environment, would that be true?
¿Usted podría decir eso?
You could say that.
Okay, the two men that you claim abducted Mollie Tibbetts were nowhere near the sheriff's office to your knowledge?
No que yo sepa.
Not that I know of.
Okay, and you not only talked to Pamela Romero, you talked to other officers while you were at the sheriff's office, is that right?
Correcto.
Correct.
You were in a safe place, correct?
Podría decir.
You could say that.
And you failed to mention anything concerning these two men and their involvement with Mollie Tibbetts.
Bueno, como usted dice, yo estaba en un lugar seguro, pero no sabía dónde estaba mi hija.
Well, like you said, I was in a safe place, but I didn't know where my daughter was.
Well, why not you could just tell the officers what happened, correct? You could have done that.
Pude haberlo hecho.
I could have done that.
Okay, and you chose not to, correct?
Correcto.
Correct.
You could have told the officers that you were worried for your daughter, correct?
Sí, se los dije al principio.
Yes, I did tell them that at the beginning.
Right. But worried for your daughter that somebody else might harm them if you told them what you told us here today.
Yo les dije que antes de decirles nada, cualquier información necesitaba saber que mi hija y su mamá estaban seguras.
I told them that before giving them any information, I needed to know that my daughter and her mother were safe.
And you were assured that they were safe?
No me dijeron nada.
They didn't tell me anything.
Okay. Did you press them on that at all?
No.
No.
You could have had the assistance of law enforcement in protecting the mother of your daughter and your daughter, correct?
Tal vez.
Maybe.
But you chose not to press that, correct?
No a presionarlos por eso, ¿correcto?
Correcto.
Correct.
Mr. Bahena, did you ever have any connection to Dalton Jack?
¿Alguna relación, alguna conexión con Dalton Jack?
Ninguna.
None.
You didn't know him or his brother Blake, is that correct?
Tampoco al hermano de Blake, ¿es correcto eso?
Correcto.
Correct.
And you did not know Mollie Tibbetts?
Conoció a Mollie Tibbetts.
No.
No.
Do you remember being interviewed by Officer or Deputy Steve Kivy?
Steve Kivy lo entrevistó.
Sí.
Yes.
That occurred in Malcolm on August 16th of 2018.
De agosto de 2018.
Sí.
Yes.
He talked to you about the disappearance of Mollie Tibbetts, is that right?
Así es.
Solo me preguntó, pues algo así.
He just asked me, or something like that.
So Mollie Tibbetts, that subject matter came up, correct?
Ese tema de Mollie Tibbetts surgió, así es.
Sí.
Yes.
And at that time, you knew where Mollie Tibbetts was located, correct?
Ubicada Mollie Tibbetts, así es.
Sí.
Yes.
You knew what had happened to her, correct?
Lo que le había pasado, correcto.
Correcto.
Correct.
You knew that she had been abducted, is that right?
Fue abducida, tomada, secuestrada, así es.
Sí.
Yes.
You knew that she had been stabbed to death, is that right?
Lo habían acuchillado a la muerte, así es.
No en ese momento no sabía cómo había muerto, solo sabía que había muerto.
At that time, I didn't know how she had died. I just knew that she was dead.
Whenever you put her in the corn, she was bleeding, correct?
Cuando usted la puso en el maíz, ella estaba sangrando, así es.
Ya no había sangre en ella.
There was no longer any blood on her.
Well,
Bueno,
you knew she was dead when you put her in the corn, isn't that right?
cuando usted la puso en el maíz, así
Sí.
es.
Yes.
You did not tell Steve Kivy
Dijo a Steve Kivy
any of those facts,
ninguno
correct?
de esos hechos, así es.
Correcto.
Correct.
You did not ask him for any protection for your daughter or your daughter's mother, is that right?
¿Es correcto eso?
Correcto.
Correct.
You denied having any knowledge of where Mollie Tibbetts was located or what had happened to her, is that right?
El conocimiento de saber de dónde estaba Mollie Tibbetts ni tampoco de saber lo que ella.
Whenever you confronted Mollie Tibbetts on 385th, you recall that, is that right?
¿Usted se recuerda esto, correcto?
No, yo nunca lo hice.
No, I never did that.
Okay, you were on the road on 385th whenever she was running, correct?
Estaba trotando, correcto.
Sí, pero nunca la confronté.
Yes, but I never confronted her.
Okay, you told the officers that you confronted her, correct?
Contó ella, correcto.
Sí.
Yes.
You told the officers that she was angry with you, correct?
Estaba con usted, correcto.
Algo así.
Something like that.
And you told the officers, told Officer Romero that she slapped you, correct?
Ella lo abofeteó a usted, correcto.
No recuerdo eso.
I don't remember that.
Okay, that made that you're angry at her, correct?
Significa que usted estaba bravo con ella, correcto.
Pues usted podría decir eso.
Well, you could say that.
Well, you said it, isn't that right?
¿Es esto correcto?
No lo recuerdo, por eso no puedo decirle.
I don't remember, and that's what I cannot answer.
Okay. You told Officer Romero that you were angry, isn't that right?
Objection asked and answered.
He's not answered it.
Overruled. The witness can answer.
El testigo puede contestar.
Pues si está en el video, sí lo dije.
Well, if it's in the video, I said it.
You told the Officer Romero, that you were angry, correct?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained.
Estaba cogido.
After
Después,
that, you told Officer Romero that you were driving in your black Chevy Malibu alone.
algo negro solo.
Sí.
Yes.
And you remember having earbuds on your lap, isn't that right?
Audífonos en su regazo, correcto.
Correcto.
Correct.
And you remember Mollie Tibbetts being in the trunk, correct?
Mollie Tibbetts estaba en la cajuela, correcto.
Correct?
Failed to mention anyone else in the car, correct?
Correcto.
Correct?
The next thing that you remember, you were at a cornfield on the edge of the cornfield. Do you remember that?
Sí.
Yes.
And you alone, Mr. Bahena, took Mollie Tibbetts into the corn.
Sí.
Yes.
And you alone placed corn stalks on her body.
Sí.
Yes.
Mr. Bahena, you stabbed Mollie Tibbetts, isn't that right?
Objection, Your Honor. I think Mr. Brown is not clear as to whether he asked about the interview and then he asked about what Mr. Bahena Rivera did. If it needs to be clear.
I'll sustain the objection and ask you to rephrase and be more specific, if you would, Mr. Brown.
I can do that. Mr. Bahena, we're not talking about the interview. I'm talking about what you did. Okay? Are we clear?
Okay.
Sí.
Yes.
You stabbed Mollie Tibbetts. Isn't that right?
No.
No.
You're the one that did that. Isn't that true?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained.
You alone took Mollie Tibbetts into the corn. Isn't that right?
Sí.
Yes.
The two men that you mentioned didn't help you do that. Is that right?
Correcto.
Correct.
You took Mollie Tibbetts into the corn and placed corn stalks on her body, correct?
Objection asked and answered and compound.
Only interpret one person at a time. An interpreter did not hear the question.
Mr. Brown, for the benefit of the interpreter, I'm going to ask you rephrase the question, and before the witness answers, I'll give the defense an opportunity to lodge their objection.
I can do that. You took Mollie Tibbetts into the corn alone, correct?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained.
You placed corn stalks on her body, isn't that right?
Correcto.
Correct.
And you left her there for nearly 5 weeks, correct?
Objection asked and answered.
Overruled.
Correcto.
Correct.
You never mentioned, Mr. Bahena, that the two men that you claim were with you, that you ever saw them again. Did you?
No.
No.
Did they ever contact you again?
No.
No.
These men who you claim killed Mollie Tibbetts never contacted you one more time.
No.
No.
And to your knowledge, these two men that you claim did the things that you've described, you have no idea how they had any connection to you.
No.
No.
To your knowledge, Mr. Bahena, has anyone threatened anyone since you took?
Objection vague.
Can I finish the question, please?
Yes, you may.
Mr. Bahena, has anyone threatened you since you took Mollie Tibbetts' body into the corn?
No.
No.
You've had no other contact with these two men that you claim did what you described.
Correcto.
Correct.
Do you remember being asked in the interview by Ms. Romero if you were covering for anyone?
Sí,
Yes.
And you told her that you were not. Is that correct?
correcto.
Correct.
So you were given an opportunity in the presence of law enforcement to tell what you've told us here today, correct?
Correcto.
Correct.
And you chose not to do that.
En ese momento estaba muy asustado.
At that moment, I was really scared.
I understand that you may have been scared, but you chose not to tell them, correct?
Correcto.
Correct.
Do you remember your interview with Ms. Romero out at the cornfield?
No mucho. No.
Not a lot.
Okay. At one point, you told her that you, whenever she was, well, let me strike that. At one point during the interview with her, she presses you for more details. Do you recall that?
Objection. At this point, counsel is testifying.
Sustained.
Do you remember being at the cornfield at the side at the side of the cornfield with Officer Romero?
Sí,
Yes.
And she was talking to you, correct?
sí,
Yes.
And she was asking you questions, correct?
correcto.
Correct.
And you were providing her answers, is that right?
Sí,
Yes.
At one point towards the end of that interview, did she ask you for more details?
sí,
Yes.
And your response was, I brought you here, correct?
no recuerdo, pero si está en la entrevista es que es verdad.
I don't remember, but if it is in the interview, it is true.
You also told her, I did it, didn't I? Do you recall that?
La verdad no.
The truth, no.
You don't remember asking her that question?
No,
No.
You told her that you could not provide any more details, is that right?
si está en la entrevista es verdad.
If it's in the interview, it is true.
I want you to go off what you remember, Mr. Bahena. Okay, can you do that for me?
Bueno, pues Detective Romero dice que la entrevista en el carro duró aproximadamente 1 hora. Yo solamente recuerdo que ella me preguntó, solo dime cuál fue la razón por la cual lo hiciste. Y es todo lo que recuerdo.
Officer Romero says that the interview in the car lasted like for an hour. But all I remember that she asked me was, an interpreter clarified. Interpreter did not hear. What was the reason why you did it?
And you told her that you couldn't remember, correct? I'm sorry.
Approach, please.